I hear a lot of cats come up and be like, yeah, I'm a street artist. I'm like, please, please, please stop saying that.
So it's day one. I'm right here in relatively cold and wet Brooklyn, New York. For the next couple of days, I'm going to be here documenting the Moniker Art Fair. As it hits the city for the very first time, I am 100% looking forward to this one. We've got the likes of INSA, FWTV, Icy and Saw, all in town, all causing madness. It should be a good couple of days. I can't feel my fingers.
As far as art fairs go, no comment, man. This whole shit show is just sort of like for shits and giggles. So I moved back to Brooklyn a month and a half ago and was asked to do this project underneath the historic Greenpoint terminal sign. And I knew they were gonna buff it after 3 days, so I wanted to do a piece that would convince them to keep it. And as shameless as it is to slut out Brooklyn, even though I'm born and raised in Queens, people love the Brooklyn pride. So they decided now they're gonna keep the Brooklyn blockbuster piece. But I'm hoping some of my Queens friends would come and destroy this piece. And FYI, this is not a fucking mural. This is a blockbuster type. That's it. Let's keep it, let's call it what it is, you know?
I'm now with Tina, the director of the Moniker Art Fair, who's now going to take us and show us round what is going to be Moniker Art Fair.
Well, right now this is Moniker Art Fair. We're in production, so there's not much going on yet. But I'm going to take you to my favorite little installation. A beautiful bar designed by Miguel. She hand-painted the whole thing. We actually produced it in London, and we shipped it here on a crate, and voila!
So what happens in this room, Tina?
In this room, we have the INSA Zoetrope, which is a mechanical moving installation, which you'll actually physically walk into, and you'll be immersed in all of his artwork, and it will spin really, really, really fast, and all the lights will come on, and you get this vomit bag at the end, and you can vomit into it when you feel sick.
I guess my main goal was to try and create a kind of, an analog GIF. I kind of think it's quite interesting to go down, have a journey, go down a route with my artwork, and then ultimately go back to referencing the beginning of animation.
I am in Temporal Infinity, the Zoetrope room, for the very first time. Experiencing there it is. Oh my god. This is the kind of like, you've had 4 tabs of acid and are coming down at Glastonbury kind of vibe. Wow. I always have these kind of permanently mixed feelings when I see like these big hand-painted murals, and they're absolutely everywhere around this area. And it's like, look, you know, trying to look at it diplomatically, you've got guys here that will be getting paid, you know, more than they would in a couple of months in an afternoon for their skill. But at the end of the day, you're just left with more advertising. And as lovely and as detailed and as well executed as they may be, you know, the result is like, what are you actually feeding into people's brains? And at the end of the day, it's more of the same stuff that we've all sort of contributed to this movement to get away from.
we doing, Doug? What are we doing?
So I've managed to just about get my head around most of the day. Things are well and truly kicking off, but I just kind of found a little moment of solitude to come out and just take in what a goddamn amazing city this is. Wherever you are in Brooklyn, you're just surrounded by character, and you get flashes of these people's lives every 2 seconds, and everyone's so different, but it just gives you this whole feeling of kind of freedom and people just doing their thing, and you kind of just think, like, this is very probably the best city in the world. So it's the opening day here at Monika, about 30 minutes until the doors officially open. Here she is, Tina Ziegler, still getting her hands dirty even though she's all dolled up. Ah, yes, look who it is. That was you. The man, the legend, Carlo.
Oh my God.
Good to see you. Congratulations.
Can I give you a hug?
Yeah, please.
Oh my God.
This is a beautiful moment.
We don't open till 3 yet.
All right, so there you go. Well, introduction with Carlo McCormack. That's gone even better than expected. Let's go have ourselves a little look inside and see what's happening. One, two, 1, 2.
3, 4, 5, 6.
That was very vocal. One more. 7, 8.
7, 8.
Oh, not so bad. Hera, interview, take 1. I'm standing just now outside Moniker Art Fair with Hera, who is currently showing a solo show with Vertical Gallery. Is that right?
That's true.
Tell me a little bit about the show itself, the concept, the idea behind it.
I just sometimes love to be on my desk and to, just draw, listen to audiobooks or be entertained and just draw without thinking. And all the work you can see in here is basically what I found on my desk, below my desk, and I put it up and it turns out to be a story in itself.
So how does it separate then between when you are Heraku and when you're Hera?
The very big difference with me working with Akut is that Akut is actually so talented and he's just so great, but also he's so technical. And my work here is probably a little more emotional, so that means it's less curated in a way, so it's raw, maybe weird, and maybe you'll hate it or you'll love it. But the Heraku pieces are, I don't want to say a compromise, but they're a merge. So they're, thesis, antithesis, synthesis. So they're more refined.
So this is for you, just pure raw emotion. Here I am, my cards on the table.
Yeah.
How does that feel for you then, as not only as a professional, but as a person? Does it feel liberating when you get a chance to just be like, look, here it is. Here's my soul. Or do you feel more naked and more exposed than you would like to?
But these are they're not just babies. I always call my artwork, but also the Heraku artwork babies. But these are like, the babies that are out there too soon. What's it called?
Premature.
Yeah, the premature ones, almost. So whoever takes them home, just be very careful with them. They're fragile.
So the text that we see a lot of the time, it comes from lyrics. Always lyrics, or
no, not always lyrics. But in the final text is not always lyrics, but it usually starts with lyrics. So for me to sit up, get up on a wall or get a paper out, I have a thought in mind, and usually get triggered by some lyrics that I listen to. In here, it's this beautiful piece. It's called Modern Man's Hustle by Atmosphere, and the lyricist is Slug, and he's I love this guy, and I've never met him, but maybe we can.
Shout out Slug.
At some point, meet.
Slug, if you're watching this, make it happen.
Yeah.
What do you want to say to Slug? Because he's almost definitely watching this.
Okay.
He's a huge fan of the
you
channel.
know him?
Yeah, we are
you go back
super
way
tight.
back? Yeah.
He's like, he sends me lyrics and I'm like, no, it's not quite right. You need to do this. It needs to change a little bit here.
Okay, well, Slug, don't listen to this guy too much. And please listen to the music, because it's almost like a suggestion. It's almost like, get a soundtrack along with my paintings or drawings.
Hush, little lady, don't say a word, or the rest of the village gonna know you're disturbed. And if you let them know that you're vulnerable, then there ain't no stopping how far they open you slow.
I know that the standard of artist that Tina's picked for Monika is super high and it's great quality, but I don't think I'm gonna see a piece of art I love more than I love this.
I shovel, feed me your troubles, then need me to cuddle. Bundle up in my mitten and coat. It's cold as it get, I keep you winter afloat. She doesn't wanna understand why I still come around. She look at the mirror, she don't see what I see. She holds no history.
Quite funny, since this all kicked off, Buff Monster's now pitched up here, and there's a slight difference in the setup between the French setup over here, which is like just a ladder and a bunch of stuff, as opposed to the dare I say it, the American setup, which is the permanent time lapse, the cordoned off section. There was stickers and books. Definitely two very different approaches in the world of street art. Once you make the performance, and once you make your art the performance, once you park your car in front of it with the traffic cones and cordon off the area, people have a completely different attitude towards what you're doing. And like I just heard there was a round of applause when he stopped painting there. You never get a round of applause. People just finish and that's kind of it. But when they see the show, people respond differently. It's quite funny. So it's now Sunday. The weather has somewhat changed, but I've managed to sneak out the fair for a couple of hours, and I'm on my way up to Axel Void's studio. He's been kind enough to let me in for a sneaky peek as he prepares for his next show. The details of this show, I believe, are still pretty unknown, so it'll be super interesting to see what he has on offer, what he's got planned, what he's working on. Really happy that he's agreed to do this. Thank you, Axel.
So this is the first time I'm doing a body of work that doesn't have a particular deadline or show that I'm going to start working on. It's a series called Mundane, and it's very much in sync with most of my work that's about daily life. The way I see the interpretation of my work is, I like to see it as like there's two walls that you set. You kind of decide from where to where does the work point. You first hear the story and you see what it is that an artist is trying to tell you, and then you somehow like mirror it to yourself. and you find what is it that connects with you and that it makes you empathize with that makes you like feel that connection. It is, in a sense, almost like emotional journalism. Like I do see myself as a storyteller and or as I document stories, but I don't do it with the purpose of being objective and like pushing through an agenda, but rather just creating this emotion. So it's very subjective always. But for me, the process is really important, and it constantly changes what it is that I do, and I try to purposefully adapt it. With this series, having this be the first time that I can remember where I don't have a deadline and I don't know where I'm gonna show it. I don't know what I have an idea of what I would like, but I don't know where it's gonna go. It's definitely liberating in the sense that I am making sure that the paintings are to the point where I really like them. In a way, I'm not restricting the work to the context in which it's gonna be shown, but otherwise adapting it afterwards. So it is very liberating. And I think I should start working like this more often. Of course, I'll do both, but this feels like a more honest approach or a more honest process. This is an ongoing communication with the audience, with the people that see my work. I kind of like to test them too. I like to see like what is it that they want, because in the end, this is not a introspective practice where I'm doing like mental masturbation of what I want to say and what I want you to think. I feel like I am, or I want to be, still more closer to the activist or the social worker, where I am serving a purpose. Like I'm just a medium or a channel for my work to say something to you, to communicate to you. So one thing that I'm always afraid of is having my work be just cheaply violent or graphic or offensive. I've never cut back because I thought it wasn't appropriate, or because I thought it was like disrespectful, or because it wasn't politically correct. The feedback that I get with my work, people are really like, they want that. Like they're happy that there's somebody that is like, not that I'm the only one, but there's somebody that's like voicing those things and bringing up these like uncomfortable issues and saying like things that maybe aren't so easy to say sometimes, but everybody needs to talk about. Even if people don't like it, I think sometimes it also serves a purpose to make people uncomfortable, but again, not just for the sake of it. The realm of suffering is always like a lot more intense than the realm of pleasure.
And now it seems as if we're used to the shaggy. We made our beds and now we hate where these beds be. Took nothing at all to part this Red Sea. I'm a shackled child, singing the good song of freedom. They've got no pride, they interrupt our grieving. Teardrops dropping for the pain of the world.
So that's just about my time here in Brooklyn coming to an end. To the whole team at Moniker, thank you so much for having me over. I'm not surprised, but I am impressed by the mark that they've managed to make in this neck of the woods. New York is not exactly an easy nut to crack, but damn, you guys smashed that. Cannot express how much love I have for Brooklyn and New York City. I cannot wait to get back here as soon as possible. Until that time comes, my name's Doug. This is FWTV.